Hi folks, Attorney Kevin Jones here. Today we're talking about negotiating with insurance adjusters after you've been injured in a car accident. If you've been in an accident, you know that dealing with insurance companies can be a frustrating and time-consuming process. But with these 8 tips, the process will go more smoothly and you'll be better equipped to get a fair settlement for your injuries. Let's get started. Tip number 1, stay calm and professional. It's understandable to be upset and frustrated after an accident, but it's important to maintain a calm and professional demeanor when negotiating with an insurance adjuster. Losing your temper or being aggressive is not going to help your case, and it may even work against you. Remember, the insurance adjuster assigned to your case is a person too. They're not your friend, but you want to have a good relationship with them because they're the ones who are going to be deciding how much to pay on your case. And in my experience with adjusters and juries and just about everyone else, people are more likely to help the people they like. In fact, I've even had adjusters and defense lawyers tell me that my client's likability has been a big factor in deciding how much to settle a case for. So be careful with your tone. Don't make crazy threats. Be assertive, but professional and respectful. And if you remember the old saying that it's easier to catch more flies with honey than vinegar, you might just be able to put a little bit more money in your pocket. Tip number 2, gather all relevant documentation. Before you try to settle your case, make sure you have all the necessary documentation to support your claim. If you've been injured in a car accident, not only are you entitled to be reimbursed for the repairs or damage to your vehicle, but you could be reimbursed for your lost wages and medical bills. But the insurance adjuster isn't just going to take your word for how much the car accident sets you back. You're going to need copies of your repair estimates, your appraisals, and pay stubs from before and after the accident showing how much pay you lost, and copies of your medical bills. You're not going to get compensated for your economic losses without documentation showing that you in fact suffered those losses that you're claiming compensation for. And to get compensation for pain and suffering from the injuries that you suffered after the accident, you're going to need to collect your medical records from your medical providers who treated you for those injuries. And if you have pictures of your injuries, be sure to gather those up as well, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, and pictures can be compelling evidence to show how bad your injuries were. Now, if your injuries impacted your ability to do things that you like to do, you should provide pictures from before the accident of you doing those things that you can no longer do. Providing documentation to support all the ways that you've been harmed by the accident is going to help the adjuster understand your injuries so that you get fair compensation. Now, tip number 3, determine the value of your claim. To get a fair settlement, you need to know the value of your claim. For the economic damages, such as the vehicle repairs, the medical bills, and the lost wages, you can figure that out relatively easily just by doing some quick math. For example, if you were making $1,000 a week and you had to miss 4 weeks of work, the value of your lost wage claim is going to be about $4,000. Now, if your injuries were so severe that it permanently impacted your ability to work or will require future medical treatment, that is when it can get a little more complicated. In that kind of situation, you are going to need to get a report from an appropriate expert, such as an economist or a life care planner, to help put a number on what your future economic losses are going to look like. Now, you'll also want to determine a value for your pain and suffering damages. And these are the most significant damages in a personal injury case and are meant to compensate you for the physical and emotional suffering you experienced due to the injuries. A few common factors that we look at to determine an appropriate amount to claim for pain and suffering damages include the severity of the injury, the duration of the injury, and the impact that the injury had on your daily life. We also look at what juries have awarded in similar cases. Some firms like mine keep their own database of jury verdicts in the areas where we practice, but there are other tools out there that can help you find jury verdicts, such as Case Matrix, Verdict Search, and some others. You might even be able to enlist the help of a librarian at your local law school or law library to help you find some similar jury verdicts in your area. Having a handful of examples of similar verdicts can be helpful in trying to figure out an appropriate range of compensation for your pain and suffering damages. But you'll want to make sure the cases that you're using for comparison are as similar as possible to yours. You want similar facts, similar injuries, and a similar geographic area. The more the comparison is apples to apples, the more persuasive it will be to the insurance adjuster. Now, tip number 4, make an initial demand for settlement. Once you feel like you have a handle on the value of your claim, it's time to make an initial demand for settlement to the insurance adjuster. This is where you write to the adjuster and you explain how you were harmed by the accident, provide calculations for all your damages, and provide the documentation to support your calculations. Once you've laid out all of your injuries and damages, you want to present the number that you are willing to settle your case for. Now, what if you just don't know what number to present? A common mistake is asking for too little in your opening settlement demand because you set the ceiling too low. On the other hand, you don't want to ask for an astronomical number that is nowhere near the fair value of your case because the insurance company may not even negotiate with you. If you don't know how much to ask for, you can just provide the calculations of your damages and the supporting documentation and ask the adjuster to make an offer on your claim. This is a good option for folks who don't have experience evaluating injury claims because it will help you avoid making an initial demand for an amount that might be lower than what the insurance company would have offered. When you make your settlement demand, you also want to remember to give the adjuster a deadline to respond. Just tell the adjuster that your demand is open for however many days you want to leave it open. Anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days is pretty normal, but sometimes we'll give more or less time depending on the complexities of our case and our client's goals. In any event, it's important to give a deadline for your settlement demand because adjusters will put deadlines on their calendars, and that will trigger them to review and respond to your claim when the deadline is coming up. Now, tip number 5, be prepared to negotiate. You need to realize that the insurance adjuster is not likely to accept your initial settlement demand. The insurance adjuster will likely make a counteroffer, and you will need to be prepared to negotiate and make counteroffers of your own until you reach a settlement that you're happy with. And because your settlement demand will begin a negotiation, you'll want to factor that into the amount of your initial settlement demand. You don't want to start the negotiation by giving your bottom dollar. That's a good way to make sure that you don't get full and fair value for your claim. Tip number 6. Don't accept their first offer. Just like you shouldn't start negotiating with your bottom dollar, insurance companies are not going to give you their best offer right off the bat. Let's be real here. Insurance companies are out to make money, and they do that by collecting as much as they can in premiums and paying out as little as possible in claims. So insurance companies often make low initial offers in the hope that you will accept them without negotiating, and that's going to save the insurance company money. Unless the insurance adjuster is offering you the full limits of their insurance policy, you can expect that they will pay more than their initial offer. So don't be afraid to push back and negotiate for a better settlement. In fact, here's a little tip. If there hasn't been at least 3 rounds of offers and counteroffers, you probably haven't done enough negotiating. Tip number 7. Don't exaggerate your damages. When you are negotiating with the insurance company, it's important to be honest about the extent of your damages and the costs associated with your accident. If the adjuster catches you exaggerating or lying, no matter how small, you are going to lose credibility. And if the adjuster doesn't believe what you're saying, you are going to get a lower settlement offer. For example, if you're trying to get compensated for pain and suffering, don't say that you can no longer go to the gym and work out if you never went to the gym before the accident. Or don't tell the adjuster that you're having trouble walking without a limp and then post on social media that you just finished a marathon. The adjuster is going to investigate your claim, make sure you're telling the truth, search all of your social media profiles, so don't lie and don't exaggerate. It's a surefire way to kill your case or get a lower settlement. Tip number 8, don't be afraid to walk away. If the insurance adjuster isn't willing to offer a fair settlement, don't be afraid to walk away from the negotiation. It may be necessary to seek legal help or pursue other options to get compensation that you deserve. In fact, it's not a bad idea to get a free consultation from a lawyer before trying to negotiate on your own, just so that you can get an experienced opinion on how much your claim might be worth. If you're on the fence about whether you should reach out to a lawyer, be sure to watch my video on whether it's worth hiring a lawyer to help with your car accident case. I talk about when personal injury lawyers can add value to a settlement and when they don't. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. We hope these tips help you negotiate your injury claim with the insurance company. If you have any questions about negotiating tactics or strategies, let's talk in the comments below. And if you're looking for a lawyer to help you, feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text at the number below and we can set up a time to talk. Even if you're not in one of the states where I'm licensed, I can probably connect you with a good lawyer near you. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.